And here for Young Conservatives Week, conservative Gen Z influencer Bo Loudon, Mornings with Maria, is live right now. You know, Bo, also the other thing that they're doing is they're talking about online safety. We saw this move in England now where they're, limiting younger users' access to social media. There's concerns about kids online and dangers, and that's, I think, a fair criticism. What do you make of that move?
I think the UK is probably going to find a way to mess it up like they do everything. I think in a general sense, it'd be a good thing to keep young people safe online and protect young children, because it is brutal space. There's all kinds of predators out there just preying on children, and also they're using tools like AI to do that now. And so I think it's definitely something that the US should crack down on. But the UK is going to use it for other sentences. I'm sure they're gonna censor people, and they're gonna prevent young people from getting a hold of the truth, like I've been blessed to do in this beautiful country.
Well, certainly we have those freedoms in the United States, but you make a really good point, and that is that in particular in the UK they are about censorship. Flying taxis and drones. Are you ready for it?
I mean, I'm definitely ready for innovation and American greatness, as we've seen throughout history of America. We are the first to invent the greatest technologies, and I love to see it. My only fear is I don't want a car that the government can just decide to shut down one day when I'm driving on the highway. I'd like to make sure that we keep technology safe and within the limits that it's still owned and operated by the people, and we're not in a lot of danger. And also, sometimes the technology fails, and that there's been crashes with electric vehicles in the past. So as long as we're safe and it benefits Americans, and Gen Z doesn't have to worry about putting their kids in a car on the way to school, driving itself, I think I'm looking forward to it.
Interesting, but the safety is there. I mean, if you start to look through the data of self-driving cars, Waymos, Tesla, etc., overall, their argument, it seems to be proving true, is that it's safer than actually having a human behind the wheel. Now, flying taxi, that's another story. That's the eVTOL story. Bo, as we move into the November midterms, your generation has been playing a key role in the changing scenario of the Democratic Party. We have seen these progressive candidates, these young candidates, more and more, whether it's the mayor of the new mayor in the mayor's race in D.C., these Democratic socialists, they're loud and proud, and they really seem to be having a lot of pull and weight on the Democratic side. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, my generation definitely, we've leaned Democrat. A couple years ago during the early Trump days, around 2016. But I think now we're actually leaning more conservative because things are just getting too out of control, and especially with these more charismatic candidates, like a Vivek Ramaswamy, something like that. They're really getting a grip on my generation, and we're much more interested in them. And actually, they're getting us to go and vote, which my generation doesn't really feel like getting off the couch to do anything. So, I mean, if they can get us to get off the couch and go vote, then they're doing a pretty good job, and especially these Trump-endorsed candidates, because my generation is still very pro-Trump, and they really love and respect what he's doing. So his endorsement means a great impact for my generation.
Yeah, no. Adam?
Well, I applaud what you're doing so much, Bo. Getting young people involved and motivated. You just wonder, how do you go about doing it? And I think what you're doing, grassroots and with the podcast, and getting people excited and giving them a reason to care and something to look forward to. God bless. That is the good Lord's work.
Well, I want to get all of your takes on this one, because former Vice President Kamala Harris delivered yet another word salad. She was asked whether she'd try and run for president again. Watch.
The one thing I do know is at the end of it, there will be a lot of debris, and it would be irresponsible to then address that in a way that we only talk about what should we do, what do we need to do to rebuild. They want things to be better. And in some places, what that sounds like is we want that to be broken. But they don't actually necessarily mean break it through destruction. But they do mean it has to be better.
Bo, what did she say?
I don't know. I feel more bad for Arnold sitting there trying to understand what she's saying.
Right, just nodding, looking at her.
Yes, I understand. No, yeah. She speaking of someone that's not popular with my generation. I mean, she built her entire campaign pondering to my generation. But I have so many friends. They're like, oh yeah, she offered me $10 million for me to do a media campaign for young people, and we turned her down because we don't like her. And our work is great and it's effective, but you can't just make someone like that likable. It's not possible. And her campaign was absolutely horrendously done. If you want to turn my generation off, start by having these lewd female performers talking about their bodies perform at your rallies. That is how you make my generation as uninterested as possible.
Oh, interesting. That's a good point. You know, Bo, all of this, I think, if you look back at Nick Shirley, this young journalist, he goes out there with a camera, he goes to Minnesota, and he opened up the eyes of a nation. That is what Gen Z can do for this nation and for us. Help us right the ship.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's a great friend of mine, and I think the work that he's doing and that this administration took action on after he exposed it, I mean, it's been incredible. You know, my generation needs to be able to afford to live. You know, I mean, all my entire generation is living paycheck to paycheck. They can't buy a home, they can't afford college, and if they do afford college, they go into extreme debt basically for the rest of their life. And it's not right. It's not where America should be, and it's not, thankfully, the track it's going. We have a lot of action on this administration against this to make my generation able to live and be comfortable in our own country, and also not have people come and steal our work and to open up daycares.
There you go. Yeah, and steal money and send it back to other countries. Well, but Bo, I'm heartened by what you said about your generation, that you're seeing through this, and that there's a movement within Gen Z to get away from some of these, honestly, these crazy things that we're hearing from the Democrats. Real quick.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, I have to contradict you, Adam, a little bit, because you said Biden has no substance. But he has a lot of substances, just not the type you should be having. And he's bragging about it on X. And my generation, unfortunately, again, we like charisma. We like charismatic candidates that are funny and make us laugh. And Trump does a great job at that. But they need to make sure and steer away from Biden, because it's still Biden, and it happens to be the worst one. Bragging about your addictions and how you're still an expert on them is not someone we should be electing for president, especially along with Gavin Newsom, who is insufferable and already destroyed one state. We don't need him destroying our country.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
And by the way, Gavin Newsom polls at 32% in his own state, and they want to take him to a national stage? Crazy.
And Steve Hilton running for that governorship. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Mornings with Maria live on Fox Business. Bo.
I'm excited for America to hopefully pull its stuff together and pass the Save America Act. I mean, my dad's been investigating voter fraud for like 10 years. I mean, it's been way more prevalent than people have even realized. And I think it's something that America really needs to combat. And we need to make sure that legal citizens are voting and that our country's taken care of. And people need to get with Trump and realize that he's trying to help them and let him help them.
Well, I had Senator Haggerty on earlier in the hour, and I thought that was interesting that he said that there's a way to take and fund at least parts of the Save America Act. Now, what did you make of that?
I mean, I think I'm on board. However we can get it passed and again get Congress to get their stuff together, I think it's really important.
Yeah, no, it's part of the agenda.